This hooded scarf is based on an earlier hooded cloak, but made without the back this time. And the way I proceeded was to cut and lay the scarf in 3 sections, 2 scarf fronts or arms as I call them, and the collar and hood as another piece. I've almost done one side of the scarf. All the layup is done. Now I just have to wet it down and get it onto the roller. I've wet down with felting solution consisting of 3 good squirts of shampoo in half a bucket of cold water. The pieces are then sandwiched between a painter's drop sheet. Okay, my pieces are now wet down. I'm going to take it up on the roller. I'm going to be working both of them at the one time, and I'm going to be using the 1400 roller. I've taken it up on the drive roller, locked the end in place, put my outer rollers in the teeth guides, and set my programming. Turn the gentle roller on. I've just checked my pieces and just to see how the pre-fit's coming along, and notice that the ends are coming along quite well because we've taken it up on the roller from this end as well as from this end. So the ends are actually coming along okay. Still a little bit loose in the centre bit, so we're going to take up on the roller to focus on the entire middle section. Okay, I'm just going to hand it over to Philip to explain this part of the process.
Hello viewers. What's happening is when you take up the material on your roller, it's the material that's on the outside of the roller that gets the most work, because that's the material that's in contact with your idle rollers. So when Joan's taken it up from this end, this material is on the outside of the roll and it gets a good amount of work. When she takes it up from this end and rolls it up, this material is on the outside of the roll, so it gets a lot of work. So now we have to concentrate on the middle section of the fabric. Now that's quite easy to do. And I'll just get my trusty assistant Joan in. The bits that are felted well,
I don't want to fold that much over. Yeah, just here. Fold it over.
we turn them into the centre. Just put that over there. And this quarter has felted well, so we'll turn that into the centre. And because it's started to pre-felt, it's alright to handle the product without doing too much damage. The garment. And then we're going to take it up on the roller this way, and we'll take it up on the roller this way, and then that middle section, which wasn't getting as much work, will now be on the outside of the roller and we'll get some work. So I'll hand it over to Joan to take it up, and we'll do some more rolling of the centre section. Okay, we're partway through the rolling process, and I just wanted to reinforce my point that it's the outside of the roll that gets the most work. Now that's true whether you're hand rolling on a pool noodle, or whether you're rolling in a bamboo blind or in bubble wrap, whatever you're rolling in. It's the outside of the roll that comes into contact with the surface you're rolling on. In our case, the surface we're rolling on is the idle rollers. So the outside of the roll will always get more work than the inside of the roll. So this is the outside of our roll, and it's very easy to just unravel your parcel. Excuse me while I come over here. And what was the outside of the roll is now the inside of the roll. So it's not too tricky to do. It's just a concept to bear in mind. There we go. What was the inside is now the outside. I'll package it up, put on the rubber bands and get it back on the roller.
For the final rolling of the two arms, we folded them together, one on top of the other, lengthwise. Okay, my two pre-felts are there. I'm just going to dry them off. I never bother with rinsing it out or anything now. I'm just going to roll out pieces onto a towel, take out the moisture and then hang it up to dry. And I'm going to be laying the hood section of my scarf next and pre-felting that separately.
Look at me.
That's it. Okay, I've sewn the two sides together and this gives you an idea of how big the pre-felt is. I've yet to sew the hood on. I'll just show you the back. I sewed the three pieces of pre-felts together, covered over the seams with some wool, rubbed them down a little for a seamless look. The whole piece was then put on plastic and re-wetted. I've put the three pieces together and it's bigger than the table that I have to work on, so it's been just a little bit awkward to cope with, mainly because I don't have a lot of table space. So we're putting it on the roller, trying to get the three pieces to come together, not necessarily to full, but just to hold a little bit better together before we start the fulling. And I'm going to be doing the fulling in the drum, so I'll show you how that's done with the drum. At the moment I'm just focusing on felting the hood to the two scarf lengths. Here we focus on felting the hood and collar to back. The way we do it is by folding the arms into the center and taking it up on the drive roller to focus the rolling on the middle section and hood. It was rolled from both ends. This way the soft seams would felt over before the fulling began. I keep it in plastic while I full, particularly to start off. I find the plastic gives the wet fabric support and stops the edges from curling in and felting together. Okay, I'm just going to take my bundle of very wet felt, put it in the rumbler, and press start. I took the bundle out every 100 tumbles to keep it untangled and to check the edges. I also folded it in an accordion type fold so that the outside was exposed differently each time. Here's the finished piece, rinsed out, but still wet. Alright, I've got my fulled hooded scarf in front of me. It's shrunk from 3.5 meters the whole length, I call them the arms, to around 2.1, 2.2 meters. And I really wanted a fitted hood, so you can see how much I've shrunk the hood as well. So all I need to do now is just sew that center seam and dry it, and it's done.